What's up, guys? I hope all is well with you. Hope everything's going great out there. Hope you're still enjoying those wonderful masks and, maybe getting back into the swing of things. I wanted to do something special, and what that means is I wanted to give a little bit review of the current tools I have as a barber, or barber in training, rather. This quarantine has been unique for me. It set me back as far as graduating, but it has allowed me to actually learn a lot more. I've been doing haircuts and I've been learning different techniques and different things. And most importantly, a lot of people just wanted a haircut and they were allowing me to try whatever I wanted to do. So the cool thing is I've been able to experiment with different things, see what works, see what doesn't work. I found myself resorting to using the same tools every time because I got comfortable with them. And I recently branched out and started using some other tools that I wasn't necessarily more comfortable with. And turns out they had some great benefits. So I wanted to go over the tools that I have and kind of give them each a different review and tell you my thoughts on them. I can say all of them do serve a great purpose, and I would highly recommend all of them. I am in no way a brand ambassador, but if the opportunity comes up because of this video, I'm all for it. So I'm going to start with, what am I going to start with? Okay, I'm going to start with these. So these are the Wahl Clipper 100th anniversary. I actually purchased these from my teacher because he had an extra set of them, and I really liked the way they looked. Not to mention how they feel. For a cordless clipper, they have good weight to them, which I don't know. I'm weird. I don't want something so light that it feels cheap, like a toy, but I don't want something so heavy that it can get a little monotonous when using. So I really like these clippers. They do a tremendous job. They have a unique blade on them. I don't even know what the cutting blade is called, but these are one of the clippers that you do not zero gap. The way that they are set up is they have a pretty aggressive blade on the bottom. Again, I don't really know the terminology of what this blade is called, but it's got like a pretty aggressive blade down here. And really all you want to do when you get these is maybe adjust the top a little bit, maybe move it a little bit closer. But these do not need to be zero gapped because of the type of blade that they have on them. So yeah, these are really great. They have a good feel to them, and I haven't had any problems with them. I keep them well oiled. I never have issues with the blade, moving or anything, as I do with some of my other. Mostly one of my trimmers tend to, after a while, the top blade tends to move. But overall, I would give these probably an 8 out of 10 right now. Very, very solid, very solid. The next ones. So I'm going to go through the cordless series because, yeah, that's what I kind of grew into. And then we'll go into why I may have changed my mind on that. Okay, I'm going to do these. These are the Wahl Magic Clips. Now, these are one of the ones that came in with my kit that I got for barber school. These are really good. I'll start with the positive and go with the negatives after that. These have a very similar cutting blade to these ones right here. The biggest difference is the weight. I gotta say the weight. These are significantly heavier than these ones are. As far as that cheap feeling goes, when I initially started using these, I was like, man, these do feel pretty cheap. And to be honest, they are a little bit on the inexpensive side if you go to purchase them. However, these, don't sleep on them because these are amazing. They cut really well. These are really good for skin fades. The other ones that I just showed you, once you get past the zero guard, once you get past having no guard on it with the lever all the way open, anything after that, those clippers are really good for. These are good because these, when closed, get pretty damn close to the skin to where you may decide not to even use your trimmers to get that extra hair, because you can use these, and then after that you can go through and get the hair with your super shavers, or you can even, you know, if you go above and beyond and use the razor to get that, you know, to get everything gone, you can do that and it'll be just as fine. So I really like these for that. Also, these help a ton with getting that bottom line out, whereas the other ones don't. I was struggling for a good while getting that bottom line out, and I found myself wondering, is it me? And I thought it was for the longest time. And truth be told, I was doing the same technique that I learned in school and I wasn't able to get it out. These were able to get it out, and these are much better for that bottom line. So these, I would also, you know, I would say these are probably an 8 out of 10. They do feel cheap. And like I said, they are on a lower, you know, they are a little bit lower in price. I want to say I want to say these ones retail for $249. I could be wrong. It could be $149, but these are significantly more expensive, and I think these you can get for between 50 and 80 bucks, depending. I've seen them various pricings, but these are definitely cheaper. Okay, so let me put the guard on. Back to those. Also, a disclaimer: definitely keep your clippers. It's good to keep them oiled at all times. It's very easy as a barber, once you get comfortable with things, it's very easy to slip on certain things and not oil these and all that stuff. But to really prolong the life of these, I would oil them. I haven't had them long enough to know what the repercussions are for not doing that, and I just tend to oil them every time, you know, after I use them. So we're going to move on to the corded clippers. These are the Andis Masters. These also came in my kit. Honestly, I was sleeping on these a ton. I didn't like the fact that they were corded. I thought that they would get in the way. Loved the idea of cordless. It's great to not have a cord attached to you, and plus the cordless ones are really good for traveling, barber services. If you got to go to someone's house, or if you're at like an event, these are really good, the cordless ones. These are what I have not been using during the quarantine, which I highly regret doing. Although I did learn a great, you know, I learned from it. Because these are powered, these are plugged in all the time, you get significantly more power out of these. So as I've experienced, if you have a client that comes over that's got a lot of stuff in their hair, or they just have really thick hair, these can power through it a lot better than the cordless ones will, which I do like a lot. Not to mention, the blend that I've been able to get with these has been way better. These are very similar to these ones. These are a little bit heavier. They feel that way. They're a little bit heavier, and they have a different cutting blade on them. So these ones you do zero gap a little bit more. The blade is not as aggressive. And again, I'm not using the correct terminology, but it's not as aggressive. But these just have a really good feel. Not to mention, as a new barber, it's really nice to have these clicks, these little notches over here, because you know when you're blending, you're going to be using the middle, you're going to be using the top, and you're going to be using the bottom, and sometimes a little stuff in between for getting out those, you know, those areas that just won't, those lines that just won't go away, or those darker areas that just won't go away. But yeah, I did a haircut the other day with these, and after looking at the picture, the after picture, I was like, wow, these ones cut amazing. These are my new favorite, to be honest. When I'm in my home shop, I'm going to be using these all the time. For traveling, I'm going to use the cordless ones, hands down. These ones, I got to give a 10 out of 10. I mean, sometimes if it's not broke, don't fix it. And having a cord really isn't that big of a deal. The only thing I ended up having to do was organize my cords a little better, because I have a huge power strip that's got everything plugged in. So once I organized that, this cord was not getting in the way. So hands down, these are the greatest clippers so far that I've used. I've seen a lot of people using the Babyliss, and I do like the way they look. They're flashy. And honestly, I don't have any experience with them, so I can't tell you how they cut. I can say a lot of the people that are, you know, popular on YouTube that are using them are doing a great job with them, so I can't knock them at all. I don't personally, I've held some of them. Someone from school had them, and I wasn't a huge fan of. They just didn't feel right in my hands. I really like the way that these ones, the style of these. The Babyliss, if you don't know, have more of a round body to them, more of a canister, as opposed to these ones that are a little bit more boxy. And I don't know why. I just kind of like the boxy ones a little bit better. But who knows? Maybe that'll change in the future. Now let's go to trimmers. All right, I'm going to start with the SlimLine Pros, the Andis SlimLine Pros. You guys are probably familiar with them. These are great, okay? These are another one of those, these are one of the trimmers that you do want to zero gap. It's just going to help you get those cleaner lines. The great thing about these is they're actually really powerful for being a cordless trimmer. And again, these, I actually slept on these ones originally because I liked the other ones. They had a bigger blade on them, and I'll show you the other ones in a second. But these ones, again, these are really good for on the go. They get damn near close to the skin as possible before using a razor, or even getting into your super shavers. But they hold a great charge, so I end up getting a few services out of them before keeping, putting them on the dock to charge. And yeah, once I zero gapped them, they were great. I haven't cut anybody with them. I always make sure if I do zero gap them that I do check it on myself first and in all angles, because at the end of the day, haircuts should not be painful. People should not walk away with red lines on the back of their neck or blood going down. And sometimes you accidentally hit someone's like pimple or something, but these should not be touching, the blade should not be touching the skin and digging into it. It's just not a good look. So yeah, those I would say, I don't know, I would give those an 8 out of 10. The only reason it's not a 10 for 10 is I'll tell you. Next, we move on to the Andis T-Outliner. Again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You got something, see, I'm a little tangled right here, look at this. So you got something that's corded. I thought it was gonna be in the way, not in the way at all. Once I skeletoned it right here, these, again, I started using these again the other day as well. Once you zero gap these and you knock this little bit off right here, there's endless possibilities. I would for sure pick these over my SlimLine Pros if someone gave me the option. I have seen the cordless ones of these, and I've heard mixed reviews about them. When it comes to things just being plugged in, you got nothing to worry about, which I like. I like that. If you're in an area where you have the power available, why not use these? I don't get into designs, but I have done like one design, and these are definitely, these cut even closer than the SlimLine Pros, which I really dig. I started using these the other day, and around the C-cup area, edging up here. I don't think I've used them yet for the front edge up line. Haven't had too many clients that request that. But overall, these get really close. And then once you finish it off with like a hot neck shave and then do some razor work around the other areas, these are awesome. So I got to give these a 10 out of 10. They just have so much power to them. If you missed it, I just tried turning it on, not realizing that my power strip's not actually on. Let's get these lights on going right here. There we go. I don't know if you see those right here, these little lights. They're beautiful. But I tried turning this on and it didn't turn on. Now it's turning on, so that's good. But yeah, these are really awesome. The last thing I want to get to, not really a trim, it's not a trim or anything. This is my super shaver I've been talking about. You've probably seen these before. If you're in barbering, you definitely know what these are. If you're not in barbering, you may have seen them, you may have not. I had a family member that had one of these, and I never knew what it was. It kind of always looked weird, but man, these are awesome. I've never slept on this because this is almost a must-have. If you have a customer that just has really sensitive skin and maybe doesn't necessarily want you to use a razor blade, or if you are just in a pinch and you don't have your razor blade with you, whatever the case is, these things are awesome. These get damn sure close to the skin. I would say even better than a razor blade, because there's been times where I've done face shaves and I've had to still go back and use these to get rid of the excess hair. These things are super powerful. You can You can hear them. They're awesome. They're lightweight. I think you can pick them up for like 50 bucks, 60 bucks. These are good not only for the barbershop, but good for when you got this area down here, if you got to touch it up and you don't necessarily want to hit it with a razor blade before going out somewhere. So I would recommend these not only for a barbershop or a barber, but I would definitely recommend these for just consumer purposes, just for personal type things. And a lot of customers are very surprised at how well these things are. A lot of my customers are like, what was that one thing you used on me? It was like a box shape. I was like, oh yeah, the super shavers. They're like, yeah, those things are awesome. And the best thing is, fingers crossed, you don't cut anybody with these. They get super close and you don't have to worry about skin irritation or getting cut, which is really awesome. Other than that, those are the tools that I'm currently using aside from my shears and my thinning shears. Everything else is pretty standard, pretty basic, but those clippers I would highly recommend. The Wahl, the 100-year anniversary, I would definitely recommend these. These are a good thing to have part of your toolkit. The battery has a pretty decent time on them as opposed to these. These I think are about 90 minutes running time, and I don't know the exact time on these, but I do know I get a little bit longer out of them. You can the only difference with these is you kind of just get used to what they feel like when they're at full power. So you can kind of feel when they're going to die, but ultimately they will just stop working in the middle of a haircut, which is that kind of gets my nerves going a little bit. So always have your corded items on you just in case. And then if you're a barber starting out like I am, I would definitely recommend these. Not only are they corded, so you never got to worry about power, but these do a hell of a job. And even well after you're into barbering and you become a seasoned barber, these are still a great set of clippers. These are none of the stuff that I have I would consider beginner tools for anybody. These are all top-notch clippers in my opinion, because they do the job. At the end of the day, you can have the most expensive tools, but if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you're not going to do a good job. You could have a $400 pair of shears, but if you don't know the basics, then you're not going to do a good job anyways. So the most important part is getting the basics down. That's the biggest thing. Another thing, I would highly recommend these. If you were to ask me what are the 2 tools that I should get, or let's just say 3. If you were to say, Nick, what are the 3 tools that you would recommend if I'm starting out as a barber? I would say the Andis Magic Clips, the Andis Masters, sorry, the Andis T-Outliners, and I would also recommend the Andis Super Shavers. This right here is going to get you where you need to be outside of getting your combs, all your other stuff. Highly recommended, and you can do it at a pretty affordable price. Other than that, I have nothing else for you guys. I think at the end of the day, being a barber, or barber in the making, I guess you can say, is really cool. The best way I can put it is when I'm cutting hair, I feel like it's very therapeutic. Not to mention when you see the end result, it's awesome. It's so cool to. So I read something, this female barber on Instagram. She had said, how years ago she was going down the wrong path. She was drinking a lot of alcohol, and she was just making really poor choices. And she always had a knack for, this is the basic way to put it, of leaving things in a better condition than when she found them. And when she started getting into cutting hair and being a barber, she found her passion. And that's kind of how I feel. I think it's really cool to be able to take your mind off of everything else that's going on around in the world, going on, especially now more than ever, and to be able to focus on the one particular thing, a client, a customer, another person, and for them to leave your place looking way better than they did when they came and feeling better. They actually tell you, man, I feel great. Thank you so much. It's great. It's life-changing. It feels good for me, and it goes on to the client as well. So that's a really cool thing. So really happy to be part of this industry now. And I'm just so excited to continue to learn and to use my tools to the best of their ability. And I'm forever humbled that I've been given this opportunity to live out this passion. This is really awesome. So at the end of the day, guys, whatever it is, live out your passion. Whatever you love, do it. If you're not a barber and you're watching this video, thank you very much. Thumbs up to you. Keep doing whatever you're doing. If you are a barber and you're up and coming, keep going. Don't give up. Work extra hard, okay? If this is what you want to do and you want to make a living at this, you got to put a little bit more time into it. But that's okay, because if you enjoy it, it's not going to seem that bad. And if you are a seasoned barber, I appreciate you watching this in general. And I hope that all the information that I'm giving is correct, because if it's not, I look like an idiot right now. But other than that, thank you for watching the video. If you guys like it, please comment, subscribe, share this video if you know anybody that can use it. If anyone has asked you for advice on you know, different clippers and stuff, this is my honest review. And if you work for Andis, if you work for Wahl, let me know. You know, I'll be an ambassador. I don't give a shit. You guys have a good day, all right? See ya.